hip thrust to death.
Good stretch, hips up, hips up.
Keep the heels down, heels down, heels down. Drive through the whole foot. Good, keep it going right away. Let's go, let's go. Calf raise up, calf raise up. There it is.
I've torn both of my patellar tendons at different times in my life. This one was about 2.5 years ago. It always happens from jumping. And ever since I've had those injuries, it's been really hard to really fire certain parts of my quad, especially the lateral side of my quad. And it makes it very uncomfortable to run because I don't have a lot of sensation on the lateral side of my knee.
Fall down 7 times and get up 8. Just because you're injured does not mean you're broken. And luckily, I've had the honor to interact with Chris Knott. He trains a lot of professional athletes, and I know he's the right guy to help me accomplish this mission. So come along on this journey back to running.
Yeah, so I'm changing the pulse frequency each time because each frequency might do something different, whether it's more neurological, meaning if I'm doing more motor control, which is kind of where we started. We want to get the body used to it. You haven't done this for forever. So we want to make sure the muscle pattern, the firing pattern is correct. Now we're going into the middle frequencies where we're actually trying to create a higher level of acute inflammation because everyone says, oh, inflammation is bad. Well, actually, when we're trying to break down the body, we're trying to create inflammation. The key to this is not making it chronic or that it stays there, but we want the body to go, oh crap, we're breaking down. We got to get stronger and rebuild. So I'm actually heightening that acute inflammatory response with some of these middle ones. Now, the very last one we're gonna do is primarily for more motor recruitment so we get everything out of the muscle. And that's what you're gonna feel on this last one.
Okay. Looking forward to it. So,
all right.
When it comes to your brain, I'm pretty sure, I don't know the number, you might know more specifically, how much percent of your muscles can you activate? What percentage of your muscle fibers?
Oh.
It's like 40, 60%, somewhere around there?
That's a good question. I'm not gonna touch that here only because there's so many different factors that go into that. We always hear the stories of like the mom who picks up the car to save her trapped baby.
Yeah, where she kind of overrides whatever that date is.
So you're overriding the defense mechanism entirely. However, we have a lot more inherent strength because, well, let me say this. There's a difference between muscle activation versus our display of strength. When someone says, oh, you're strong, what they're saying is you can bench press a lot, you can squat a lot. However, if you're squatting a lot of weight, you're using your whole body. So it's not just, hey, does my quad fire and how many motor units of my quad are firing? It's about the coordination of everything together. So every movement is a skill. If I practice squatting, I'm gonna get better, hopefully, at the skill of squatting. So there's a coordinated effort. Just like Tiger Woods can create more club head speed, he's got a much smoother, coordinated swing than Fred Funk, who's still a PGA golfer, but he's got kind of an ugly golf swing, but he made it work for him to be in the PGA. So again, there's a lot more involved. However, from a pure motor pattern, like how much fiber can we recruit in an individual muscle? You know, we could look at EKG studies and stuff like that.
But with something like this tool, can it go fast higher than our normal brain probably?
Yes, 100%. That's the main thing is if I didn't have this on, especially in an exercise where his brain is thinking, I've had knee pain, I've had other stuff, there's a lot of guarding, there's a lot of things shut off. So we're gonna activate, and that's what's cool on the hypertrophy programs, like with my female bodybuilders who are looking for, let's say like glute development, they might be developed on one element of their glute, but there's a lot of different strands. So we might actually see a change in the contour of the glute itself, and I can actually activate certain fibers to create more hypertrophy in those particular fibers. Okay. So can we activate specifics? Absolutely.
All right, perfect. So we're about to activate them all.
Yep. And now we're gonna go into that last little bit.
What number are we looking for? Because this is a lot.
Now we're going for 10.
For 10?
Yeah.
This weight?
All right, now we're gonna get a little bit of quaking in the quads. All right, here we go. Good, now keep those heels down, relax the ankles. Keep the heels down, heels down, heels down. Drive through the whole foot. Good, keep it going, right away, let's go, let's go. Up. Good, slow.
Right.
Hold, 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 hold. Up, 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 up. Very good.
Holy, that's fun. That was fun.
All right, there we go.
That was hard. So the thing is, I didn't really feel my knee bothering me because normally I'm thinking about my knee. In this case, I get the vibrations. kind of thinking about my toes. You're like poking out of my shoes or trying to keep my foot balanced.
Yeah. Shoe choice would be another conversation.
Yeah, these are running shoes.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to bring my lifting shoes. I feel like my foot's sliding to the right, like out of it.
Yeah, so when we're actually doing most squat patterns, our foot is grabbing the ground and it's actually torquing because we get a spiral rotation as it comes up through. If you look at human motion, it's actually not linear. Everything has some rotational component to it. So we want our shoes, that's why a lot of shoes that are nice and flat, almost like slippers, or that have that nice wall, that's why all Louis Simmons and Westside Barbell guys will wear like Chuck Taylors, because they're flat and they got that nice outside to really drive into. Most running shoes, you're kind of pressing over and falling over the edge, so they're not the best shoes for gym applications. But we'll make and do today, and again, this is a little bit more linear. We don't have quite as much torque, but that torque is there regardless. Okay, since we got our primary work with our quad, we got our heavy first because, again, one of the primary and biggest elements of hypertrophy, of course, is just tension on the muscle. So the more mechanical tension, the more stress, the more stimulus, the more growth. So we take care of that first, but now we want to make sure that we get the quad in its entirety. So even in this, even though it's more of, we'll say quad focus because the knee can travel in front of the ankle, we're still always coming down in a hip flex position. But the quad not only extends the knee, but it also stretches back in this position. So every squat and lunge pattern, actually, even though I'm standing up, as I'm standing up, I'm losing tension in its most lengthened position because this is shortening, but this is extending and vice versa. Now we're shortening and we're extending here. So to get the quad in its fullest extension, that's where we do what we call a sissy squat. Now, one of my favorite tools is to use a hack squat for a sissy. This will be our high tension because it's just difficult, and we're gonna superset this with a regular sissy squat. So I'm gonna demonstrate that now. What we're gonna do is now we're gonna bring our feet up nice and high on the platform. We're not using hardly any weight on here, but now to get my ankles to travel, I'm actually gonna do a calf raise, come up on the toes, and now I'm gonna lift my hips. From there, now I'm gonna maintain hip extension, and now my knees are gonna come here. Now, most people, because they're so weak here, their hips are gonna wanna drop. So we're gonna keep this, let my knees travel, and I'm literally doing a leg extension in a full hip extension. This is a complete right here. Now my quad is in full stretch position. This is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do our set here, and then I'm immediately gonna come next door here. So now we're gonna come into our sissy squat. So again, I'm gonna come up on the toes. I'm only using this just for balance, but I'm keeping my hips up as my knees come to the ground. And again, I'm doing a full leg extension, but my hips are being stretched. This is actually a full quad extension that we don't get regularly. This is one of the ways that we're gonna bomb-proof the knees from the quad perspective. After this, then we go to our primary work, which is really the hamstring, because everyone's hamstrings are so deficient. And again, similar concept, just in reverse that we'll go over, but we gotta make sure those hamstrings balance out the knee. But this is the way we can lengthen the quad because everyone's quads are so tight because we're always in hip flexion.
So you're lengthening it while also kind of strengthening it in that length of.
Yes. So when we go back to kind of my spiel on why I don't stretch, it's not, I say that because most people, when they think of the word stretch, they think of, oh, I'm passively stretching. We don't passively stretch. We're not fixing anything. Again, when you were a little kid, you didn't stretch for recess. However, we need to get strong in the muscles lengthened position. Most weight training is tightening. And now our sitting, our posture, everything is tight. So now when I'm in a sport or something where it's like, oh, I gotta be in extension, that's when bad things happen. So what we really do is we are going to strengthen in the lengthened position so we can have active strength and we have the control of that. And so again, it's not like I'm just doing one of these stretches. I'm actually controlling my body and I'm under tension. So I have control and I have strength in the lengthened position. So now when I get back here, guess what? My brain doesn't freak out because it already knows, hey, you're strong there too.
Okay. No, that makes tons of sense. All right, so let me try this.
Yep.
See what that looks like. All right. hip thrust to death.
All right, so got a different frequency here. Gonna get you started. Now I got you here. Yep, now let those knees go forward, forward, forward. Now keep the hips up here, hips up. Good, now leg extension, very good.
Ooh, that's weird. All right.
Good, heels stay high, so calf raise up, calf raise up. There it is, good. Now we're getting that full quad. Good, heels stay up, heels stay up, heels stay up, stretch. Good, give me 3 more. Good, 2 more, hips stay high. So heels up first, hips stay up, stretch, 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 extend. Keep those hips up, last one. Make it perfect. Good, hips are up, hips are up, hips are up, hips are up. Now leg extension, good, relax.
Yeah, that's no joke.
Okay, yep, and we're gonna superset immediately into here. So come right next door. Oop, technical difficulties.
Boy, that changed the frequency.
Yeah. All right, come a little closer for me. Good, nice and high on the toes. Good. Drive the knees forward and down. Lean back like you're doing a limbo. Good, now fingertips, relax your grip. Perfect, now straight up, tall. That's it. Good stretch, hips up, good, and up, straight up. Whoosh. Okay, last one, let's go on, let's give me one more. Very good. All right,
Yeah.
that's a real quad workout.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna start practicing those more. 'Cause that's hard.
Okay, very good. All right.